What else do we have?
Where you at, Knuckles?
Me?
Sorry.
I am
Yeah.
inside the destroyed theater.
Could you GM1 it?
GM1? Oh, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
good. I want to be in
Let's
GM1.
see. All right. Let me
Yeah.
spectate you, host, boy.
Okay.
All
Let
right.
me,
Good. Go ahead.
Let me message Cake and see what she's up to. Oh, she's offline. Duh.
Yeah. I don't know. Door's all looking into it. So.
Okay. Well, not much we can do then. Hi, Toby.
Toby.
Yeah, your boy on fire. It's Toby.
Let me get to.
I'm gonna go to the lobby again and see what happens. OMG Lepidus, huge fana. Big fana. Oh yes, Marky. Give me the suck, please. Mansion de la Hus.
Oh.
Shady, I'm gonna be discussing the elements of interior. I'm gonna try and give a sample interior live, and then I'm gonna do a Q&A session. That's what I have the example buildings for, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this ain't gonna be rescheduled, y'all. We're just gonna keep going.
Yeah. This is gonna be just
Me
fine.
and Knuckles, our panel is just too good, right? Something
Yes.
had to happen.
Yeah, it's not canceled. We're still fine. We're fine. Yeah, Fiz, I know. Why is Evan in my panel in game mode 3? That's just the default thing. Everyone's just in spectator. I'm not sure why. That's just how it is for the panels. Yeah, apparently there's some glitches happening, like chunk errors. I'm not sure why. Just ignore them, pretend they're not there. They shouldn't affect it. Yeah.
Chunk errors are so interesting.
Everyone, guys, join Masterclass 3. So.
Well, they're in here. If they can.
Yeah, that was. I just realized halfway I was saying it. Oh boy, more. That's not good.
Oh, another one. DJ Khaled. Another one.
Another one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Oh God. Yeah. This is a sad chunks. I'm not sure what's causing these glitches, but yeah, this is concerning. Okay. I think we're gonna take this down and okay. Yeah. So. Okay, I think they're just restarting the server to try and fix the chunk errors, because they're not actually, like, they have not destroyed the blocks. They're just chunk glitch. They're just visual glitches. So yeah, the server will be up shortly. I guess we could just wait around for a bit.
Yeah,
let me see.
Yeah, if y'all need entertainment, that's why I'm here.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, let me see. What do we have in here?
Yeah, you'll have to let me know when it's back up.
Okay, we got a few people in the. Oh yeah, we got some people in the Masterclass channel. Awesome. Alrighty, yeah, I won't tell you when it's back up. It might be back up. Yeah, I believe the server is back up for everyone who is not online. Let's see if the chunks are gone. This is unfortunate, but it should be resolved fairly quickly.
Oh.
What?
I just realized at the spawn they got these like boost platforms. It's crazy. Ooh. Hit spawn right here, and then I'm a Kobe it all the way. Kobe! Oh, I failed.
Yeah, so right now it looks like the warp is not working for some reason. I think they're just trying to fix the chunk errors if they can. Luckily, we can just improvise. We can wait a bit.
You know, I might do a hot fire flame little rap session.
Yeah. You feel like doing that?
All right, everyone that's up in here.
Yeah, guys.
Put yourself on the general chat room.
Hold on, Qua. I think it might be working.
Oh.
Okay. No, it's still maybe. Hold on. No, the chunks are still kind of screwed up. But yeah, you can do a rap.
All right, so everyone, head over to the general chat. I'm trying to set my Discord crap up again. because they got 18 billion people in here. So put random stuff up in the chat, random words, random topics. We're gonna put it in the freestyle. If we got anyone could suggest a beat a second. Nice hip hop beat. What's a good rap song? Yeah, we need a good rap song.
Yeah. Attaboy Qua. Yeah,
yeah, this will be recorded. I'm recording it.
Yes, Qua is recording.
Songs I got. Knuckles panel I got. Knuckles panel gonna have video though.
Yeah, so this should be uploaded to YouTube in all its disastrous glory.
Definitely.
Boy.
Okay. What Knuckles? What songs you listening to?
Denzel Curry Ultimate. That's a rap one, right?
I don't know. I never listened to these.
Oh, some of you guys might recognize
I listen to me though. If it ain't by the Quad, I ain't never seen it. All right. This it? Oh, I got you now.
You might want to turn off the lyrics because it's quite explicit, so I'd be careful.
Turn off the lyrics? Nah. All right, let me do a quick audio test.
Alrighty.
One Quad, Tyrone Jr., Jackson Jr., I'ma hit it. So fast, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm praying, y'all. Oh. See, that's good. All right, y'all ready? So put your topics up in the random chat. I'm gonna start up at I always start at the All right. Wonkwa. Hizowski. Cheeseburgers, superfluous Windows pickles, already know. Elephant tusk all day, Knuckles 527, interior masterclass. Y'all. I got some wood planks up in here, you already. All boots and cast. Is this class being recorded? My neck and my back. Hit it with a back. Man, it's too much. I don't know what I'm saying. Something about my butt. Party, lick, crack. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm back. Hey, Hurricane Tortilla. You already know I'ma hit him with a builder. Cause that's all of us now. This is giving me life. 10 out of 10 when I hit him with the cheese on my oatmeal and gingies too. Cheese, memes, fees. I like to eat them V's. Hey, eat the llama too with the supercolorfromHBLadocious too. Ooh, Knuckles getting screwed by the chunks. I'ma know he a real punk, even though he about 19.5. 6'9" and skinnier than Gyro's eyes. Sheep with too long hair. Shrek and Stalin in the bears. Hairy legs got me feeling like a dog, but I ain't never. I'm just the greatest of all time. Interior cookies retainers, I put them up in my mouth. You already know I'ma hit them with a Kraus. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta. Cause we glitching on them. And Bob Ross on them, painting with them. John Cena, he is back. This rap is dope. You already know Daddy Corn Pops, and I ain't never saying these. Ooh, 21 Scandinavian Keemstar, Salami and Vacate. Cool pie. I like to cry in my spare time. Ramboss is ravioli. Chairs in Australia. I don't know, but I'm back to the top. These jellyfish donuts are my favorite. A is Wonkwa and scares here. XD salt. So many people. Minecraft rap. I'ma hit them with this crap rap. Hey, Wonkwa, let me get it in. I'ma hit them with Harambe and Reddit in. These nerds be too salty, but I'm just gonna go and put it on my pretzels, wetzels. I'm a lemon lemon. Killer Keemstar, cause Qua is dope. You already know we should source first Quaminism. Facebook Blocktastic, cause Qua is everyone's senpai. Hey, if for the senpai is up in here, you gotta get, cause Qua is back with the lava farts and Uzi rat attack. Bogaku, Mankey smells, something about the walls. Yo, yeah, Wonkwa. Roblox and the snowballs. This is finna come to the end. If you ain't playing Club Penguin like Knuckles, you gotta get out of here.
Nice, Qua.
Wonkwa.
Attaboy. Nice.
Yo, you awesome already know. Let's get it.
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
Alrighty.
This is coming to an end, I hope. Yeah. Let's get it.
Woo! Nice, Qua. Okay.
Alright, we gotta name the track a second. What's that track normally called? Alright, so it's normally called Ultimate.
Yeah.
What are we gonna name it? Uh,
Qua. I think I'm gonna start if that's all right.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Uh, all right. We're just gonna do Club Penguin. I gotta export this a second, and
Alrighty.
then I'll switch recording. Penguin. I gotta get to your class and all that.
Okay.
Second. All right. What are you at? /warp.
Yeah, everyone. So everyone, I'm gonna start now. Everyone, go to /warp Knuckles class, and I'm going to be beginning. Even though there are some chunk errors, let's just pretend they're not here. It's a bit unfortunate, but not much I can do. So yeah, okay. Okay, ready. Okay, yeah, I think Qua's good, so
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna start. So yeah, everyone, if you're here, do /warp Knuckles class. This is the main theater, and so me, as for me, I am Knuckles527 or Chase. Some of you guys might know me as Chase. I'm a member of Blockworks and I'm an ex-member of Go Creative. And so for my interior masterclass today, I'm going to be discussing the main elements of interior and what kind of distinguishes a good interior from a bad interior. I'm going to try and do a live sample of interior if I can, and then I'm going to be offering a brief question and answer session afterwards. So yeah, currently we're in the main theater hall area that I designed. Unfortunately, it has been sort of griefed by chunk errors. But yeah, we're just gonna pretend they're not here and roll with it. And so even though it's kind of hard to see, this main theater encompasses some of the important elements of interior design, those being atmosphere and lighting, coloration and palette, texture, and form. And so some of these examples aren't really illustrated in my other examples in the panel, but if you notice, the seats are kind of rounded, which helps to wrap all the viewers onto the central main focus area, which would be the stage. And the background of the stage has a very chaotic sort of texture, which basically emphasizes it in contrast to the rest of the actual auditorium. So this is one element that I would suggest utilizing. It's like a focus point or an emphasis point that sort of contrasts the rest of your interior, and it works well in large auditoriums or like large rooms that need a sort of direction. If we go outside here, I'm not sure how many of you guys are following me, but I suggest everyone go outside, either through the chunk errors or through the proper entrance. And so if we come out here, you realize that although the theater was quite expansive underground, the actual building itself is rather minimalist. And I kind of wanted to use this to showcase that exterior is not always important to a build. It's not always vital. You can still have a really sort of like entertaining and exciting or interesting build using purely interior that can engage your viewer, even if you don't have an extremely elaborate or detailed or interesting exterior to go along with it. So around this main square area, I have a bunch of different examples of different styles and different themes for interior that I'm going to go through pretty quick. And let's see if that works. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you guys are following me or not, but if you are, go to the staircase area that says entrance, and then there are 3 buildings along that side. If you go to the far right, you'll see a sort of sandstone and brick type building. This is a Roman villa that I made as part of a survival games map about a year ago now, I think. And so these 3 main buildings that I'm going to be taking you guys through just for this part sort of emphasize rhythm and unity in interior spaces. And in saying that, I'm referring to that all the main rooms follow the same theme, and they all have like a similar layout and a similar lighting and similar furniture. They all are sort of in harmony with each other. They all share the same sort of qualities. I'd invite you guys to go in and explore and just check everything out for your own enjoyment. As for space, this main villa has a sort of pool area that all the main rooms are sort of centered around, and this was a main element in Roman villas of the time. They had this, large atrium that sort of greeted the residents and helped to orient the house and sort of harmonize it with nature, because it's very open to the sky and can let light in and rainfall in and that sort of thing. Yeah, so if we continue down, there's also another sort of open sky courtyard, and you guys can feel free to explore through all of this. All the rooms, if you notice, they have the same sort of wall design, ceiling design, that whole sort of deal. So all the rooms here sort of emphasize unity and harmony. Someone in the chat just asked how I made the water flowers. I used World Edit for that, and I turned off block updates so they wouldn't sort of like disintegrate. Anyway, if we move on to the main building here, this gray one right next to the Italian villa, this is a brutalist residential apartment building that I made for the Blockworks Brutalist contest about 2 summers ago now. And as you can tell, this very starkly contrasts with the Roman villa, but it still has unity and harmony and utilizes space quite well, in my opinion, even though it's a completely different style. If you guys go inside and check it out, all the rooms have, a similar sort of palette, and they all have a similar sort of layout and furniture design. This was inspired by some of the earlier builds of World of Corrales, where I used to build, and that's where I mostly learned how to do interior. That's where I got inspired to do interior, building, one-to-one modern sort of interior rooms like this. And so if you look at the building itself, it has 2 main towers, essentially, that are connected by the canals and an actual bridge, and that sort of separates the office part from the residential part. And so I'm going to go into one of the apartment areas that's on the larger tower. I'm not sure how many of you are actually with me, but I'd encourage you just to try and merge through the walls if you can, and just take a look at some of the actual rooms of the interior. In particular, this room that I'm at has all white furniture and all gray and black sort of walls, and then I have these elements of blue that are sort of hinted throughout, which kind of draws the eyes away from all the actual white and the gray, and adds a bit of emphasis as well to the room. Because if your interior is purely all gray and all black and all white, it's going to be boring. You need some color in there somewhere. And I used so much gray in this particular interior because it's sort of evident of the brutalist style. The brutalist style being, very sort of simple and lacking color, just more form over function. Let's see. If we move on to the next example in this row, it is a townhouse that I built as part of an architectural project. It's based off of the Carlos Slim townhouse in the Upper East Side, New York City. And so this one also follows the principles of unity and form and rhythm, not form, unity and rhythm in the interior design, meaning that all the rooms have a sort of like cohesive appearance. And so the exterior is a more traditional sort of ornate Gilded Age type of townhouse, but the interior is modernized. So if you go onto the first floor, we have a sort of brown and white wood and snow sort of coffee shop inspired by Starbucks to a degree. It has, bathrooms and a coffee bar and that whole sort of deal. And I utilized, brown sort of hues and wood tones to give a sense of warmth. And as you notice, even though this is modern and the Brutalist building was still modern, this one, it feels a lot more warm and a lot more realistic because I used sort of like wood tones and different brown tones to invoke feelings of warmth and of, like coffee beans and that sort of whole deal. Let's see, if we go up to the second floor, I have a similar style, but a bit altered. Again, it's a sort of modern take on a residential townhouse, and this one has a balcony in the same way that some of the rooms in the modern, Brutalist sort of building had, and in the villa. These all have balconies because I enjoy balconies. They help to utilize space and sort of emphasize space quite well. In this particular interior, I again used, white and black elements contrasted with wood, and then, sort of green foliage elements to add some color and add warmth to the actual interior itself. I'd encourage you guys to, go in for yourselves and explore. But all the rooms have the same materials together, and they all have similar furniture and layouts. And this is a bit different than some of the other examples that I'll be taking you guys through. Yeah, so rhythm and emphasis and harmony, or just unity in your rooms, is a big part and an important part depending on the type of interior you use. It's mostly the most important in like a modern sort of interior. If we continue down to the left of that townhouse, there's this sort of snowy castle, gray sort of snowy castle here. This was built as part of a PvP map back when I was on Go Creative, and this one particularly was used as the spawn, and it's kind of inspired by one of the Disney castles. But if you go inside, this particular example showcases one of my favorite uses of atmospheric lighting. I'm quite proud of it. As you come inside, you can tell that it's clearly a different style than the other examples. But unlike the other examples, this one utilizes lighting to highlight and sort of hide areas that aren't as detailed, or emphasize areas that are more detailed, as opposed to the sort of clean, open lighting that the other modern buildings had. Guys, if you're messaging me or teleporting to me, I'm not going to be able to read or accept them right now. But yeah, so this main castle spawn area, I use a lot of arches to sort of invoke the feeling of a very grand sense, because this is, of course, a castle, and I used, a domed ceiling to give the kind of appearance that, you're sort of like an ant in this massive room. And of course, I built this on I believe it's a 2-to-1, maybe it's like 1.5-to-1 scale to sort of like make you seem as if you're a lot smaller than you are, and to give, again, a sort of grand feeling for the entire place. Yeah, I'd encourage you guys to just go in and explore on your own. This dining hall back here, right off the main spawn room, is differently colored, but it uses red tones to sort of evoke the feelings of like a dining room, basically, or like a royal dining room. Again, using arches, and then a very detailed ceiling and a detailed chandelier that kind of drips down. And I used lights basically under every single arch to highlight what was underneath the arch. As you can tell, some arches have thrones and others have these statues. Some of them kind of have bushes off to the sides. And then, of course, on the ceiling, I just added some lights to kind of draw your attention there. But as you notice, I didn't light up every single part of the interior. I kind of left some hidden in the shadows to emphasize certain parts of it. Okay, so that's that part of the interior. Now, if you guys follow me, go all the way across the big square design on the ground, and go to this mansion, this brick mansion. If you guys are here, it is it's based off of the McAllister household from the movie Home Alone. So yeah, it's Kevin McAllister's house. Yes, Home Alone. And so this particular example of interior, I think, utilizes detail and color in a good way, meaning that as compared to some of the other examples, these particular rooms aren't all the same. They don't have harmony in the same way that the other examples did, because every room has different sort of wallpaper and different coloring and different layouts and different, furniture, that sort of stuff. So if you look through, all the different rooms have different qualities that make them unique, and this is sort of a popular element of houses of this sort of style, more traditional style. Each room was supposed to, be grand in its own, and it's supposed to have its own meaning. If you guys noticed, for the dining room, I used a nice red color, which kind of like evokes the feelings of like being warm and getting food and eating, and amongst many other different feelings you could get from that. Um, some of the other rooms are like orange or green, which all have different meanings in their own right. If we come into the kitchen, it's like a yellowish sort of red, which is like a nice calm neutral color for like the serenity of the kitchen. But yeah, all these rooms are accurate to the actual house. I watched the movie multiple times to try and get them all correct. And a big thing in the actual movie was that the director made all the rooms have a lot of red and green colors because the movie is set at sort of Christmas time. And so that was a large part of my direction for this sort of creation, really. Yeah, you guys can feel free to go through and explore and yeah, check it out. I'm going to move on to my next example, which is this big, massive castle that's directly opposite, the main sort of theater area. It's the big, giant gray castle. This was built as part of my Ravenswick project. That's about over a year and a half old now, but it's a massive Gothic castle. Yeah, so if you guys come inside, this is probably one of my better interiors. I think it's probably my favorite one, just out of personal opinion. This particular example, I think, is a good example of proportionality and scale in interior, because as opposed to most interiors where they're just sort of one-to-one medieval village houses, this one is built at like a 3-to-1 scale, and it's a full 3 floors of interior. I'd expect you guys to of course explore it on your own. And so this one also utilizes like the color in every single room, where every single room has a different color basically to evoke the ideas and emotions present within each room. So like the dining room has like a nice red color, and the kitchen has like a more blue, sort of calm, serene color, while the main foyer room has a sort of like brown wood element to it, and the library all the way at the back has like a deep purple and a deep black to sort of symbolize wisdom and learning, that whole sort of thing. Let's see. Yeah. If you continue up to the other floors, all the other rooms have different elements of them too. And so personally, I decided to build this on a 3-to-1, or maybe it was 2-to-1, just a larger than normal scale, because I built the castle so big. I decided to experiment and try it on a larger scale. And the benefit of building this on such a large scale is that I can get a much larger base, because the scale isn't so massive that you feel like you're an ant, but you can also sort of relate and like go through and sit on the couches and feel like you're sitting on a couch, even though it gives you so much more detail, which is why I do a lot of my interiors on 2-to-1 scale or 3-to-1 scale, as opposed to just 1-to-1 scale. Yeah. Alrighty. So I think that's that. Yeah, I'd encourage you guys to go through and explore, check out all the different examples. I think now I'm going to start my live demonstration of interior. I'm going to try and see how that's going to work. If you guys come to the center of the panel, the center of the orange floor design, it's right on top of the theater, you'll notice a stone brick, quartz, and jungle wood house. I did not build this, unfortunately. My friend Hydraxis allowed me, or gave me permission to use this house. This is from the Zafira, I apologize, deep sea contest entry from Pandora's Blocks. I believe Tagano made it, but I was just kind of scrambling for time, and I needed something to do interior on. So if you guys have any ideas of what I should do in here, post them in the chat and I'll decide what I should make. I don't have any particular style or any room in mind. If you guys want anything in particular, just post them in the chat. I'll see what we can take from there. So like, pick a style, so like modern or traditional, classical, etc. And then tell me what type of room. So like maybe a bank, maybe a bedroom, maybe a bathroom, or whatever, that sort of thing. Try and pair them together. Let's see. Seeing a lot of classical. see, courtroom, town hall, that would be cool. Yeah, chandeliers. Not doing that one. Bank, yep. Colonial, Victorian, ooh. Weak romantic style. Let me see. Medieval bedroom. Let's see. Magical. I think I saw Victorian bank, Victorian town hall. Okay, so it seems like the consensus is more of like a Victorian sort of interior, so I'll go with that. So that will match the actual exterior of the house, which doesn't always have to be the case. Let's see, how are you placing trees? Okay, I think I'm gonna go Victorian, and I know someone earlier on posted bank, so I think a bank would be kind of cool if that's all right with you guys. I'm gonna try a Victorian or a classical sort of bank. Let's see how it works out. So yeah, we have this building already prepped, and so one of the main things I would want to emphasize when doing interior is to make sure that when you're first like prepping and getting all the walls down and hiding all the nasty bits of your exterior detailing, is to treat the interior at first like you're doing an exterior. And by that I mean, so if you notice, this main door archway has a lot of nice detailing on it, and what I would usually do is just like literally copy and paste what the actual sort of door has onto the inside, and then use that to sort of fill up your walls. Let's see. I hope Wall Edit is working. If it's not, that would be quite annoying. But yeah, it looks like it's working. Okay. So yeah, as I'm doing here, I'm just copying and pasting. Yes, I can do chandeliers. I might just copy some from my other examples, but yeah, sure. Yeah, anyway, first thing, I just copy and pasted this design from the front of the building. It's not going to be perfect as I'm doing this live, but that's sort of the first step. I always make sure to clean up the interior and treat it as if I'm doing an exterior when I'm doing interior, just so you can get all the walls and the ceiling down, and then you can go in and add divisionary walls and furniture and that whole sort of thing. You can add lighting and whatever. Okay, let me copy this top part. Let's see how this works. Yeah. What scale am I doing? I think I'm going to try and do this at like a 2:1 scale, just because the building is kind of large as it is. It's not, the building is definitely not 1:1. So let's see how this works. Alrighty, okay. Boy, okay. So yeah, as you can see, I have some sponge down just for filler walls. And so since the building is going to be classical, let's go with, let's see. I think I'm gonna do so the roof itself is kind of slanted as it is. Instead of doing like a flat wall, I think I'm gonna do a sort of curved one. So what if we try and do another brick sort of roof as inspired by the one in the Spawn Castle? So what I would always do is in Victorian or traditional or like classical interior, because that's what we're doing, the main elements of that would be to have a very ornate sort of roof. If you've ever seen any Gilded Age mansions, they always have a very prominent sort of roof detailing and very ornate roof detailing as a whole, basically. Although I'm not going to be able to, probably not going to be able to do this entirely accurate. But yeah, let's see what we can do. So yeah, I'd always like to separate the wall from the roof if I can. So let's see, have that as that material. Granted, we don't have night vision, so that's not going to be the best. But yeah, okay. So also another thing, yeah, temporary light. That's a good idea. One moment. Yeah, so one thing I like to do when I'm doing interior like this, yeah, and before I move lighting, I don't think night vision works, but one thing I like to do is to give sort of like a gradient of detailing colors from the floor to the ceiling. If you guys look in the small castle again, I used like reddish sort of colorations on the walls, and then I used a lighter wood for the pillars and then a darker wood and like nether brick for the roof or for the ceiling. So it kind of adds like a gradation of light to dark detailing. So I might try that in here and see how that works. Let's make this. Let's make this green. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And so one main thing that they do in Victorian sort of interior is they have a almost like a cornice for the actual transition from the roof to the building itself. So I might try something like that and see how that works. Again, this isn't going to be perfect because I'm doing it live. I'm not going to spend, years on it just to see how it looks. Yeah, again, I'm going to try and be making a Victorian or classical sort of bank and seeing how it works out. Granted, I don't have super long, so let's see if it works. Can someone kick that guy spamming? Yeah, okay. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, so here, if you guys are looking, I made a small bit of a cornice. So this sort of would differentiate the actual wall from the ceiling, and it sort of helps to ease the eye and make it legible that like, hey, this wall is turning into a ceiling now, and it sort of it helps to add like a sort of a curvature to the ceiling as a whole. And so again, I'm utilizing that sort of idea of like a gradation of color, where I go from this dark oak to nether brick. I might change this later on, but let's see. That's all right. I'm gonna replace this clay here with a lighter version of the clay. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. To sort of highlight it. Right now we can't see it, but when I add lighting, it'll probably look a bit better. Yeah, so let's see. So while I'm building this, if you guys have any questions as to what I'm doing or like how I'm doing anything, why I'm doing anything, the way I'm doing it, feel free to ask. I'll try and read the chat and answer as I'm doing it to the best of my abilities. Yeah, so again, I'm gonna copy and paste this sort of window detail and put it just right inside. So that way you can emphasize the windows and make them look nice, because they look nice on the outside. They should probably look nice on the inside too. Just a snug, maybe 4 blocks of a half slab in the corner. That's a good idea. I think you're referring to the stair. I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. I think he's referring to this thing. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna leave it. I think yeah, it's all right. But yeah, this is sort of the first step I would take in doing an interior. I'd make sure I get all the windows in and organize all the walls, and yeah. Then I'd lay down all the actual detailing and everything. So yeah, this of course does not work perfectly, but let's see what we can do with this. Okay, that's kind of a cool window thing right there. Yes, I'm gonna get the other windows. I think I'm just gonna do half of this and copy and paste it to the other side. And so right now I changed the walls to green because I thought that would look all right, but looking back at it, I think it's kind of dark. So I think I'm going to try and change this to a nice orange and try and make it match with the roof a bit. So let's see. Oh, that's not the right color. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. So again, when I'm thinking about this, we're trying to create a bank, right? So if I'm thinking about a bank, I want it to be nice and like pristine and like dignified, and I want people to come in and feel like this is a place of like business transactions and money. So I think orange kind of gives that emotion and sort of evokes that emotion properly. But yeah. Let's see, what do we have here? Here I move the window one spot forward so it can sort of emphasize the window frame. because a large part of traditional interior, not as much in modern interior, is, you know, emphasizing these massive window frames, as you can see. But yeah, let's see. I'm going to get rid of that and that. Okay. I'm going to continue this all the way along. This building isn't actually, it was not designed with interior in mind, so it's not going to be, not going to work perfectly. And again, I am sort of just, you know, winging it here, but let's see how it works. Okay. I think I'm going to add some stripes to this wall too, just to break it up so it's not pure orange. Yeah, again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away. I'll try and answer them in the BuildCon chat. Okay. Jill says, how do you give a house that look for interior, or no, how do you give it, I think you mean like, how do I design a house that works for interior? If you're asking that, then okay, yeah. What I would usually do before just like going ahead and building the exterior, I would try and plan it out first, do like a physical floor plan, or like draw or sketch or just build a floor plan first. And then try and arrange where everything would go, and then build the exterior up, and then build the interior up. Okay, let's see. Do you have any books or places you recommend to learn the types of interiors? That's a great question. There are certain interior magazines that I often go to. There's a lot of them out there. I also go to, you know, just like Pinterest and Google Images a lot. A lot of the buildings and the rooms that I showed in some of my examples are all inspired by actual places. Like I know the library in my big castle, that one is inspired by the library in the Biltmore estate. And the main theater hall that I made, that one is directly inspired by the Opera House in Oslo, Norway. Do I have a Pinterest? I don't really have a personal open one. Let's see, what else do we have? What do I like more, interior or exterior? Personally, I enjoy interior more because it gives you like a sense of immersive, like it sort of immerses you more than exterior can, and it's also it's good for like providing atmosphere. And I personally just think it's more fun, even though I do enjoy both. I think interior kind of tells more of a unique story, and not as many people do it, so I just enjoy it more. Let's see, are there any differences in designing an interior for a circular room? Yeah, definitely. So if you're doing like a circular sort of room, I would try and put like a dome at the ceiling, and I would, you know, orient everything around, you know, in like a circular pattern. So like all the pillars and everything would try and mimic that sort of circular feature, and I'd probably do a lot of like circular detailing just to try and you know, sort of harmonize the concept and the shape of the room. Anyway, I'm gonna favorite type of interior design. Do you mean like favorite style, or like I'm not sure you mean style. Okay. I'm not sure if I have a favorite by that, but I really do enjoy modern interior, and I enjoy sort of a classical or traditional interior. Yeah, I think modern is my favorite, to be honest. Because there's so many different ways you can go with modern, and it's also really nice and really clean and really smooth. Yeah, I think that's my personal favorite. Yeah, okay, let's see what we're doing here. What are some blocks which you find are often overlooked by average player for interior? Let's see. I'm sorry if I skipped your question. Post it again. I can't. It's hard to see everything in the chat. But what are some blocks that you think are often overlooked? Well, I know bookcases. Those are often, like, I think they're used too often in most interiors. Overlooked. That's a good question. I think just like any of the newer used blocks, or any of just like the unique sort of blocks that people wouldn't think of for using interior, like people like the blocks that people use for exterior all the time. Yeah, mushroom blocks. All the blocks that people use for exterior are not always used for interior. because most people, when they think of interior, they just think of like a medieval house with like bookcases and chests and furnaces and cauldrons all just like spammed all over the place. Um, let's see. Let's see. What do I have here? Oh boy. By chance, do modded Minecraft. If you add modded blocks, I think they would work the same. I'm not sure. Let's see. Have I ever done a greenhouse? I've built exteriors for greenhouses, but not interiors. If you were to go and do an interior, I'd make sure that you have a lot of natural lighting, and I'd arrange all the plants in a unique way so that they're all excuse me, they can all be like evenly viewed, and I'd make sure to emphasize, like overgrowing plants and that whole sort of deal if you're doing a greenhouse. Let's see. Do I make a color palette before starting? For me personally, I usually do not do a color palette. I like to just try things out and see see how they work. But if you're just starting out, using color palettes can definitely benefit you. Because it's nice to have like something that you can just go on and rely off of, and if you ever get stuck, you can just look back and say, hey, these are my materials that I'm working with. Let me use one of these and reference one of them. Oh boy, there's a lot of questions. Yeah, I apologize if I don't get to all of them. If I don't read it, just post it back again. What kind of block would I like to see added? Personally, I would really love to see a black version of the quartz pillar. I think that would be really cool. Do I use texture packs? I think texture packs can help. Yeah, like especially on the World of Koralis server. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with that, but they use modern texture packs all the time. Personally, though, I only really use the default one nowadays, just because I like to challenge myself and see what I can do in the limits of the default texture pack. Do I landscape as well? If you mean terraform, I dabble in terraforming. Let's see. Oh my goodness. How much? Okay. Someone said, do I try to evoke more of a feeling or a story when building? It kind of depends on what I'm actually building. So I think it's always good to have some sort of a story in mind when you're creating something. And interior is also a great sort of vessel to evoke emotions and stories. So I'd say a little of both. I like to have somewhat of a story and use lighting and atmosphere to evoke emotion and a certain feeling when you enter a room. Okay. Oh my goodness. So many questions, guys. How does the structure, house, etc., influence the interior? Personally, I think the type of building, like the type of interior, always depends on the exterior. So, like what I'm doing right now, this is like a house, but I'm turning it into a bank, so it's not going to work appropriate. It's not going to work perfectly. But so like houses, are usually small, so it usually benefits a house if you're doing like sort of 1-to-1 scale. But if I'm doing like a bank or like a big sort of grand spawn like the castles I made, then I went for more of like a 2-to-1 scale, just to showcase a sort of grander scale. Yeah. Let's see. Oh. Hey, I'm trying my best. Okay, I can't do all the windows and everything at once. It's hard to talk and do everything at once. Favorite and most used ways of covering up areas where the exterior almost creeps into the interior. Well, for me, another benefit of building on a 2-to-1 scale, usually I will just cover the walls in another wall, as I did in this interior. I just covered the detailing with this this wall wall and clay sort of pattern. Yeah, so I enjoy doing that. Okay. What would be one thing that you would say to someone who wants to improve in doing interior? Um, I would try and break away from. I'm not sure what level of skill you are in interior, but I would say try and break away from using bookcases if you're one of those people. But I would say go online and find references and do research and try and get inspired and find the type of interior you want to make, because I always use references whenever I'm doing stuff. All these buildings for the most part have independent references that exist in the real world, so I'd try and go out and do that. Yeah. uh, let's see, what were you saying about lighting on the walls to make them look bigger or something? I missed that. So in the smaller castle, that one has a lot of arches, if you notice. And I basically added lighting at the top of the arches to emphasize what was contained within the arch. So some of the arches have like details or statues or whatever it may be. Yeah, and that sort of highlights that thing. Excuse me, that sort of highlights whatever is inside the arch. Yeah. Oh my god, this chat. um, where do I get references from? Um, personally, I mean, what you could do, you could just look up like classical bank interior or like modern bedroom. Pinterest has a lot of good modern stuff. But I just browse like everywhere on Google, everywhere on Pinterest until I find what I'm specifically looking for. But no, I don't really have any like specific like special website that I could just direct you to. It's a lot of just independent research, which Mosu or Denzaru, he covered sort of finding concepts for your builds, and you can do that. You can apply that same process to finding references for exterior and interior. Let's see. Yeah, Corrales Inspiration Series. Let's see. Okay. Um, but what do you mean by 2-to-1 scale? I hear people say it, but I don't really know what it is. Should it be that one block is able to take up a 2x2 area? For a 2-to-1 scale, I usually refer to the player's sort of perspective as a whole. So if you go to some of the examples, if you pretend to sit down at like a chair, it's not going to be to your player's scale. It's going to be twice that of what the player scale would be. So if you compare it to, I think the brutalist example is a 1-to-1, and I think the villa is 1-to-1. I'm not entirely sure on that, but compare the brutalist one to some of my other interiors, and see how the furniture differences or changes in the scale. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Have I ever seen building interior in a large scale like 20-to-1? Personally, I have not done that, but I know people like Denzaru have done that, and it looks really awesome if it's done well. He used to do that a lot. I'm not sure if he's doing it so much anymore. Common mistakes that people do when doing interiors. That's a good question. Let's see. Well, usually when starting off, people just spam a bunch of bookcases or furnaces and chests and everything, and that's just like a filler interior. I don't think that's not very good in my opinion. But it's it's like the basics. That's what everyone sort of does. What I think you should do is you should apply the same effort and concepts that you applied to exterior to an interior. So by doing that, I mean like go out and find references for your interior. If it's like a medieval house, instead of just like spamming bookcases and whatever, go out and look for like, what did medieval houses have? Did they have like dirt floors? Did they have like solidified brick furnaces, etc., etc., etc.? That whole sort of thing. So the apartment looking complex next to the modern builds, what style is that? The exterior for that is a Gilded Age. I think it's Gilded Age Baroque style of architecture, and the interior is modern. Yeah. What are some things you see often forgotten in an interior? That's a good one. Um, um, Well, yeah, I'm not saying not to use bookcases. I'm saying not to just like spam them everywhere and just rely on them. It's okay to have bookcases. Just they should be used if they have a purpose. So like if you have a library, then sure you can use bookcases. Or if you're doing it in like a office building or whatever, like they have a purpose. Just make sure you don't rely on them as your crutch. No, I don't hate bookcases. I just think that they're often overused in interior. If they're used correctly, they're fine. I was reading a question. What did I say? Some things that are often forgotten in an interior. One important part of doing interiors is to make sure that you include the purpose of what you're actually building. So say if you're building a house, you want to make sure it has like a kitchen, a bedroom, a dining room, a foyer, a living room, that sort of thing. Or if you're doing like an office building, you got to make sure it has, bathrooms and offices and executive suites and that whole deal. You got to make sure that you include all the essential parts of your interior when you're actually forming it. No, yeah. For my theater, Sean, I'm not sure what happened with that. There were just a bunch of chunk errors. I didn't do anything. I'm not sure what happened there. Do you think there's a benefit to having a one-to-one interior on a large castle? Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a benefit to have a one-to-one interior. I personally, for the castle, it was just so massive and so intimidating. I figured it would take me, 3 times as long to do it on a one-to-one than it would to do it on a 3-to-1. So I just built it for that, for time's sake. But yeah, if you want to do a one-to-one on such a massive thing, you can benefit it by making it kind of like mysterious and hidden, and you can make it like really confusing, and just it sort of doubles how massive it is if it's one-to-one, even if it's a really small build, because of how close and how small the rooms are relative to each other, as opposed to a 3-to-1 building where there's only 1 or 2 rooms that are massive, if you get what I mean. How do I manage my space? I usually try and plan it out beforehand, and of course I look at references, and I make sure in my head I think of like, okay, what purpose does this room need to serve? Like, what rooms do I need in this building? That whole sort of thing. I make sure to plan it out beforehand, and then I actually go through and execute and build it. Have I made anything lava based? I don't think so. The only lava based, I don't think so. That would be interesting though, like a volcano sort of interior. That would be really cool. If you're referring to like structure or interior just in general for lava stuff, I would make sure to use like magma blocks and nether bricks, and oh yeah, someone just messaged me a forge. That would be awesome. Yeah, use like iron and in like a cave or something. Yeah, nether brick, that sort of thing, like a reddish hue, but probably you might want to refrain from wood. Yeah. Hopefully I answered that. How long did it take to make the big castle? The whole build took me like 7 months. I made the castle in like maybe 2 months. It took me a while because I spent a lot of time on that. Yeah. How can I use heads to benefit my interior? That's a great question. I use a lot of heads when I'm doing interior. Unfortunately, they all disappeared because I basically selected this as a schematic, and schematics don't really carry over heads very well. But heads are awesome. Arcaniacs has this head database that has like a bunch of different devices, like fish bowls and candles and everything in between, basically. And so that's definitely useful all the time. I primarily use them for like candles and that sort of thing. Do you use IRL interiors as a concept for yours? Yes, I use real life interiors for concepts all the time. A lot of my rooms and references in the big castle and all my other castles and everything I built has usually a reference to it. When building, is it best to use full blocks or not? That kind of depends on what you personally enjoy. Like for me, I personally enjoy using stairs and slabs because I think it just makes everything look better, and that's just what I prefer. You can do interior with or without stairs and slabs. That doesn't really matter. It depends on what you're building. So like sci-fi might not use stairs and slabs as regularly, but yes, I'm a confirmed slab spammer. But like traditional or like Victorian might use stairs a whole lot more, and it might benefit you to use stairs and slabs. Um, okay. What is a good way to create a stairwell? Stairwells, depending on the type of style you're doing. If it's like traditional, you want to emphasize the stairwell and make it nice and grand, like my castles. They usually have like very grand sort of stairwell foyers. But if it's modern, then yeah, spiral staircase is a great way to do that. If it's more modern, you kind of want to have it like tucked away, almost as if the stairwell is kind of like a closet. They're usually not emphasized as much in modern sort of interior. Um, have I found any use for barrier blocks? Not really. Not really like for aesthetics sake, but they have some like practical usages definitely to like block off areas. Um, let's see. Something you should build when starting out. So like I guess if you're starting out an interior, what should you make? I think you should experiment and try something that you haven't done before. So most people when they're doing interior, they do like a house or something. I would try something that's not a house. Try like a courthouse or like a town hall or like an opera house maybe. Try something that's away from your norm, just so you can branch out and get a feel for what interior is, and maybe try and recreate something that exists in real life. Um, yeah, let's see. Have you ever attempted or seen two or more different styles of an interior mixed together while still looking good? How is it done to look good? Um, Not really. I'm sure I probably have and just can't remember. I know on World of Corrales they tried making like traditional and modern stuff combined. Um, it doesn't really work out the best if you're doing something that's like polar opposites, things that are polar opposites like modern and traditional interiors. But it definitely can be done. I know like there are real life buildings that have been like repurposed, like townhouses that have modern interiors that integrate elements of traditional sort of architecture into them. So it is definitely possible, just not very common. How do you do gameplay centric interiors versus aesthetic interiors? That's a good question. So aesthetic ones, I usually just focus on the detail and make it as realistic as possible. But if you're focusing on gameplay, you want to make sure that that takes priority. So like I would say you don't like when I would use flowers, for example, you wouldn't probably want that in like a gameplay oriented map because that would prevent your players from like shooting arrows because it might like get stuck in the flowers or using like paintings or anything. You don't really want that in like a map. Um, so you got to think of like your audience, who's going to play it, how they're going to play it. I would make sure to like play test it and make sure there are like lines of sight and that whole sort of deal. Yeah. Um, where would you use over decorated walls? I would say those are good when you're sort of in my theater, just as an example. That one has a really like, messy sort of rough textured wall to create emphasis and kind of contrast with the rest of the modern, but like the rest of the modern furniture and environment. So I think that can be used if you're using it as like emphasis. What blocks do I prefer for lighting? I enjoy using prismarine lamps and beacons. I think those are really nice and they can be easily hidden. I like to hide my lighting though, just so it's not obvious. How did I do the cupboard doors? I tried something like this, but it didn't work. And he posted the link. Hopefully this will load. I think you're referring to the ones with doors. I just use Bold Edit and cut. Yeah, I use Bold Edit and stack them on top of each other. Let's see. What's better, to underdecorate or overdecorate? I think it depends on the style. So like if you're doing modern, you definitely don't want to overdecorate. But if you're doing like a traditional sort of thing, then you really do want it. You do want to overdecorate because that style is very like ornate and that sort of element. So it depends on what you're doing and depends on the building itself. Like if you're doing, say like a mansion, like a Gilded Age mansion, that's gonna have a lot of detail, but like a shack or like a medieval house might not have as much detail. Do you think roofs are often forgotten? By roofs, do you mean like ceilings? If so, yeah, they're definitely forgotten because most people usually just do like a flat sort of ceiling, which although it has its merits, a ceiling can often attract the most attention to an interior. Like if you guys go into the library of my big castle that has like a really pretty, I think it's a pretty cool ceiling design, and that sort of grabs your attention, and it sort of acts as like a centerpiece and or like a focal point to the build. So yeah, I think roofs are often forgotten, but even though they are quite a vital element of interior design. Yeah. If so, I've seen it. Okay. So is there an unrealistic type of interior? That's a good question. Probably, I'm not sure. I'm sure they definitely exist. Probably stuff like concept art for like Guild Wars maybe, or like God of War. That's kind of some like unrealistic fantasy interior that exists. Yeah, look that up. God of War interior. Yeah, let's see. Do you remember off the top of your head the ID for the sunflower stem that you use sometimes to make flower pattern stems? I think it's 175, 175, I think. um, yeah. How much longer am I having my panel for? I mean, if you guys are still up for it, I'll go for like another half hour. Because my panel, there's not another panel happening. For a bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick around for another half hour. You guys can tune out if you don't want to. I'm gonna be here though. um, let's see. What would you say is the main difference between classical and modern interiors? I would say main difference, probably like the wall detail. Modern interiors, like the wall and the ceilings, they're usually just one material and they're very flat. Whereas traditional ones, they're like very emphasized and they're very unique in that sort of way. Um, um, okay. Why do most of my builds not have attics? That's an interesting one. I know my Home Alone house has an attic. I don't know what that was, but yeah, my Home Alone one has an attic. They usually don't have attics because, say, like my castles, those are very like sort of grand as a whole, and attics kind of give like a cramped sort of feeling, and that can take away from that often. If you're doing like a medieval house, that would definitely fit well, like a nice like attic. Um, how do you make the most out of interior out of a narrow space? So if you're dealing with a limited space, I'd make sure to put like a high ceiling and then add try to reduce the amount of stuff you put on the walls just to try and maintain a steady level of like navigatable space. Sure, yeah. Um, yeah, I would high ceilings and then reduce stuff on the walls and be careful and think about how you place your furniture. What do you think about? What do you think about? What do you think is fun about building things in Minecraft? I think just building stuff in Minecraft is awesome because it's relatively easy compared to other programs like CAD, but you can get a whole lot of detail out of it, and you can get like stories and atmosphere and emotions and everything because we have a relatively decent lighting engine. Um, but yeah, I think it's just awesome because it's a way of expressing emotions. Yeah. Okay. Jeez. What do you think of this sort of cartoonish interiors on New Haven's build? Would you ever be interested in doing something like that? I think that's the Alice in Wonderland one, right? I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think those are awesome. Yeah. Those are awesome because they're on like the similar scale to mine, where it's like like 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 5-to-1, etc. But they're cartoony because they're not necessarily like realistic. They're very they're very fantasy. I would yeah, I'd be up for doing something like that in the future. Maybe I could see myself doing that. Yeah, those are really cool. Let's see. Best. Oh God, there's so many questions. Okay, do you intend on an IRL career in interior design? No, that's not too personal. That's fine. Personally, I'm planning on being an architect. I don't really want to be an interior designer personally, just because they don't really get paid that well. Even though I do enjoy interior design, and it's useful to have like a basis in interior design if you're if you're going to be an architect. It's good to know how to plan spaces and whatnot. Let's see. There's some questions up here. What is your opinion on floors made of logs placed horizontally in alternating directions? Yeah, I use those all the time. Those are awesome for like checkerboard sort of patterns. Those are real nice if you're doing if you're trying to create like a wood carpet almost. They're nice for like a sort of warm, like almost log cabin sort of feeling. what do I think about how inefficiently Minecraft runs shaders? For example, Skyrim can handle shaders, yeah. Using the same computer. Yeah, that bothers me because I'm building on a laptop. Like I'm doing all this on a laptop, believe it or not. So I can't even run shaders. So I think that's quite annoying that that Minecraft is so inefficient. But I think Windows 10 will hopefully fix that because I think that's kind of the direction Minecraft is going. Um, would I do interior tutorials in the future? Maybe. I think maybe. Yeah, I could try and do that. I don't think I was gonna try and disclose something, but I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, I'll keep that at a solid maybe. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Uh, mm, yes, I see some of you guys are on in laptops as well. I can relate. How did BuildCon find out about you and invite you to do this tutorial? Well, for me, I actually kind of invited myself because I happen to be friends with Cake Icing because we're both on Blockworks, the team Blockworks, and so I was like, there hasn't been a interior masterclass yet. Why don't we do one of those? Because I think I wanted to see one personally, so I offered my abilities to help, sort of teach one, and that's how that happened. Yeah, I kind of invited myself basically. Can I show you guys chandeliers? Okay, someone requested chandeliers. Yeah, I can do a chandelier. Chandelier. Yes, I can speak words properly. Okay, hold on. Let me just read these other questions. Okay. Yeah, sure. This guy. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Again, I apologize. This is probably really OCD inducing that I haven't finished this interior. I'm just. It's hard to read stuff and do live stuff at the same time. But yeah, and a chandelier was requested, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah. So if you guys are interested, here's how I usually start my. Here's how my is this grief. Um, One moment. I have to deal with some technical difficulties. But Pancho, I think this is fine. Oh no, that's not fine. But I just ignore it. Yeah. Anyway, chandelier. Let's go. So I would usually start with like a hopper, as if it's like a hook that would connect it to the ceiling. And so I'm gonna do one similar to the chandeliers found in my Home Alone house and the two castles. And so they're just like pure glass. Yes, glass panes. And so chandeliers of this sort of style, you want them to have like a nice unique shape. So either like rounded or like egg sort of shaped. So let's see, light, great, yeah, boom, there we go. So now what you can see, hoppers are transparent, so that's going to be hidden underneath there. And so what I would usually do is I'll measure out, like, say I want it to be that big, maybe I want it to hang down, so I'll put these as set those as like a chain and have it hang down. This one, tiered shapes with sharp ends. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'm gonna try and make like a rounded sort of chandelier and see what happens. So there's a whole bunch of different types of chandeliers. I personally enjoy doing sort of like rounded sort of shaped ones as opposed to like multiple tiered ones. So I'll do like a base shape sort of like this, just see what I can get done, and then I'll go through with the panes and see what it looks like. I usually just go over every surface with panes and then detail it up, make it look kind of round. So when the thoughts that are going through my mind when I'm doing this, I personally think it's a bit too small because I want it to kind of go in and then shape out and get thicker towards the bottom and then go back in a tiny bit. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this bottom part, make it come back out thicker. Yeah, it is a bit of a pain. Nice. Yeah, it is kind of small. So this is what happened. This is like trial and error. So yeah. So now that looks kind of like a bell almost. So what if I try something like this? Yeah. Alrighty. So I'm just experimenting, trying to trying to shape it the best that I can. Yeah. Okay. So that's sort of adequate. Of course, I would go through this multiple times and just see what's the best design I can go with. It's always nice when you have a reference picture or like a reference room that has a chandelier. That's always good. But yeah, so now this has a better shape where it kind of slopes downward. I'm gonna add a light in here so it shines like a chandelier. How am I gonna light it up? That's basically how I light it up. I just add a light into it. But yeah, now I go over all the surfaces with glass. Now what if I do something like this? Yeah, okay, I like this. Yeah. Can fill this in like that. What if I try something like that? Did I mess up block? Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go over all this in panes. Okay. But yeah, but then you can use the panes to sort of shape how you want it to look. Because they're sort of, they have a smaller hitbox. They're a smaller sort of shaped block. So they can help accentuate the curvature of your chandelier. Yeah, using that nice vocabulary. Alrighty. Oh, I noticed. Okay. Block there. There we go. Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, so this is basically how I do my chandeliers. This one is similar to the one in the dining room of my smaller castle. It's nice and rounded. Yeah. Okay. Put some. Yeah. But now, if you take a look at it, it kind of looks adequate. It's it's kind of shaped decently. But yeah, it goes from the top, narrows down, gets a bit bigger, and gets smaller at the bottom. Okay, left-hand corner of the interior. Does it annoy you when you can't fit the whole arch like that? If so, is there anything you'd usually do to make it kind of fit more? Do you mean this okay, yeah, the left corner where the arch doesn't fit. So if it were me in this building, I'd try and plan out the building so that the window doesn't fit. But sometimes like stuff like this, I should have continued the wall like that. So it's like solid. But usually I'll just try and ignore it, like, to be honest. Because like, say if you're looking from the bottom right here, you're not gonna pay too much attention to that. Especially if I put like a tree or like a bush right here, which actually sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna do that right now. Like a nice tree right here. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I apologize if this isn't finished. It's hard to build stuff live. Yeah. So yeah, now that I put like the bush there, your eyes kind of divert to the bush as opposed to the entire thing. Let me see. Is this still okay? We still got a few other people in here. Okay, yeah. Alrighty. Okay, now that there's not many questions, I'm gonna continue on this interior. Let's see. Yeah, so we're doing a bank, right? Yeah. Okay. What if I make this? Okay. Do I use armor stands? That's a good question. I personally do not use armor stands because they're usually very laggy, and they're a pain to get them correct. Even though they are certainly beneficial, I'm just not a huge fan of them. In certain instances, they're good, but they're not always the best. It would be nice if there was like a plugin to like automate something like that. I'm sure there probably is, but yeah. For me, I'm not a huge fan of them, just personally. Yeah. I'm sure there are some plugins. I'm just not familiar with those plugins. Yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm adding a sort of cornice at the bottom of the room. So now you can see that it sort of ties in with the rest of the stone brick, but then separates it from the rest of the room. And then in the ceiling, I added just a acacia wood pattern to sort of tie in with the orange walls, but also make the ceiling sort of pop, if you know what I mean. And so I made the chandelier. I'll either make the chandelier white or yellow, but this particular room, I think white works the best because it already it kind of matches with the the window frames. Do I prefer sea lanterns or redstone lamps? I prefer sea lanterns because they're kind of like they're monotone. Like the redstone lamp has like a texture to it, but the sea lamp doesn't really have a texture to it, so it works in basically every interior. Yeah. Whereas redstone lamps, those are good for like steampunk sort of medieval sort of interiors. So those aren't able to be used. They can't be used everywhere, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna keep any interiors you'd advise using lamps. Yeah, I would advise using like redstone lamps and like steampunk sort of interiors where they're like mechanical sort of interiors, because those would benefit from the texture. Because the textures of blocks play a huge role. Like, for example, I like to use like the coarse dirt block as like a wood, like to simulate sort of like a wood texture. So like, say for example, like where you guys see this granite that I use at the top, if I were to replace that with like a dirt, of course it's not actually supposed to be dirt, but it's a different texture that sort of adds to the overall concept of what it is. So the textures of blocks play a big role in what you use. How long have I been building? About I think 4.25 years, maybe 4-ish years. I joined I think I got Minecraft in December of 2012. How do I plan to make use of the new 1.12 blocks of interiors? I think you're referring to the terracotta blocks. Those are going to be awesome for like floor patterns, and especially for like if I'm creating like carpets or whatever. Those are going to be super awesome. Do you build on any global / public servers? I build on the Builders Refuge server from time to time. Other than that, I mostly just build on the Blockworks private server. Yeah, build battle, redstone lamp versus sea lantern versus glowstone versus torches versus envons versus beacons. Yeah, that'd be funny. Okay, so yeah, this is supposed to be a bank, right? So let me I saw a design that I like. I'm gonna do like a bank teller sort of thing. Terracotta blocks work for ceilings. Yeah, they could definitely work for ceilings if you're doing like a sort of if you're doing like a Baroque thing. That kind of gives me the idea if I think of oh God, what was the church that Michelangelo painted the ceiling? Someone has the name of it. I forget what the name of it was. Sistine Chapel. That's it. Yeah, that's it. You could use terracotta blocks to sort of emulate something like that, maybe. Do I often make rooms symmetrical to some degree? Yeah, I definitely make rooms symmetrical. It depends on the type of style. So like if you're doing like a classical interior sort of like this, it benefits you if you do a symmetric room, because that sort of evokes the idea of like opulence and grandeur and like stability basically. But if you're doing something asymmetrical, it's more likely it's going to be modern, because that's just sort of how the styles work. But there are benefits to doing symmetrical and asymmetrical interiors. What's my favorite build theme? I think you mean like style. If you mean style, then probably like Victorian or like Baroque. I really like Baroque architecture. It's awesome. Yeah, it's all good. Oh dang it, Baroque. Yeah, Baroque. I apologize. I cannot enunciate my words properly. Yes, Baroque. That's the proper word. Sorry, I apologize. I can't speak words. Yes, Baroque. Yeah. Okay. Have I ever built interiors in Conquest Reforged? I have not. I would love to do that though. Like I have some plans that I might try and do a few builds in Conquest, just because of like the amount of like metadatas and stuff they have. Would be awesome to do like a really detailed medieval interior in. Yeah, so maybe someday. Okay, so I before I did this, I looked up classical bank and I found this image. I'm gonna post it in the events chat of of like a booth teller, of like a bank teller sort of thing. And so what I'll usually do if I'm doing like a bank or whatever, I'll look up images like classical bank. And so I found this one. I'm gonna post the link to it in the events chat. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try and Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. That might be the wrong link. I'm not sure if it's gonna load actually. Let me see what I can do. But basically, it's this cool wooden bank teller thing. Um, yeah.
Okay. Well, that was awkward. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. I think I just got booted from the server.
Yeah, you just got booted. You got like the wrong mic and all that.
Yeah. Can you still hear me though? I'm not sure if
We can hear you. It's low quality. It sounds like you're
yeah,
on a laptop mic or something now.
computer died, or maybe I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, I can just, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna improvise. You guys basically got the gist. If you have any questions, I'll answer them from here. I apologize for the low mic quality. If you have any questions, post them in the Q&A channel. I do a bit of a Q&A. If the server comes back online, I'll try and continue that. But yeah, any questions, put them in the Q&A, and I'll try and answer them. How would I do shutters and curtains? That's a good question. If you go to my Home Alone house, that one has some curtains in it. You can either build them out of physical, real like actual blocks. That's what I did in that one. Or you could use banners. Banners are also good for shutters and curtains. You could also probably use doors maybe to do like wooden sort of shutters. But shutters can they can add to your windows if you're doing like a traditional sort of house. They'll make it more like homey and more warm. But like I would not really use them in a modern sort of house because modern windows are more boxy and geometric. If I do tutorials, I would probably put them on the Blockworks channel. Yeah, Sean, Acacia Duo's best wooden shutters. Yeah. You can pause it if you want, because I'm just gonna do a Q&A, I guess. Thank you for recording it though. Yeah, so if you guys who do not know, Qua recorded all of that in its entirety, I think. So yeah, he's gonna put that on YouTube, I think. But yeah, so that should be saved. Who taught me to build so well, or how did I learn? I basically kind of taught myself. I was inspired originally by Schnaga and his kind of detailing style, and then I eventually sort of evolved into my own. Of course, you can tell I'm inspired by the works of like Pandora's Blocks and that sort of detailing style. I really enjoy that sort of style. Yeah, and also I learned to do interior from the World of Corrales. It's not as popular as it was anymore, but that has some great interior on it for modern sort of stuff. What creative server would you recommend to someone without a build portfolio? I would probably recommend going on Builder's Refuge and just building on the plots there and trying to build up your portfolio to the best of you can, to the best of your ability, or to the best you can. The most overused block I hate. Wow, I think you're trying to make me say bookshelves, but I'm not a fan of overusing bookshelves in interior because, or like, just as an example, not that I'm hating on this particular style, but like say, like Hypixel, for example, some of their interiors aren't the best in my opinion because they use, they just kind of spam melons and bookshelves and chests and furnaces and whatever. And it's not really like, it doesn't have a purpose to it. It's just all the rooms are like that and none of them are different and they don't really have, they're not really unique, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I think if you're starting off, it's all right. But once you try to progress into a more advanced interior creator, I try and refrain from using those. So where do I draw my inspiration from if I get stuck on a part of a build, or how do you work your way out of being stuck? That's a good question. If I'm stuck, I'll usually go online and try and find new references that I haven't been looking at, or I'll just like take a break, go for a walk, try and gain inspiration from my surroundings, see if there's anything outside that can inspire me. But it's always good if you have a reference, because even if you lose inspiration from that, you can you'll know what to follow, and you can just follow it in its entirety. You can just see what it has, and use the furniture and the detailings and that whole sort of thing from your image. What is my favorite block? I like the Ender Dragon egg. That has a nice shape to it. Least favorite block? I don't know. Maybe like emerald ore. That one kind of looks ugly. Maybe, I don't know. Have I built anything? Any inkling of my home in real life in Minecraft? I have not. I have not yet. Maybe I will one day. But currently I have not. Have I done sci-fi interior? Yes, I have done a sci-fi lobby once, as like a server sort of lobby. That can be found on my Twitter, I think. Yeah, but I haven't done a whole lot of sci-fi interior. I would like to in the future. Go to my Twitter. It's twitter.com/knuckles527 and just browse through it. You'll find it. So I often lose inspiration or just enthusiasm towards my builds for really no reason. Do you have any advice to keep myself motivated? One thing that really motivates me is when I build something and I really like it. Like that always empowers me to keep going. So maybe, I'm not sure how much this is gonna help, but like build stuff that you enjoy, or like that you think you're going to enjoy. Because if you enjoy doing it, you're going to continue to gain inspiration, and the more you enjoy doing it, the better your product is going to be. And if you have a good product, you're going to be inspired to continue to make that product good. And again, if you just lose inspiration, it's good to go outside and find, and try and find new references, and maybe take a new perspective on what you're doing. Try and take a break from it for a few days, and then come back to it and see if you have any new ideas that you can integrate in. Yeah. Okay. I'm just waiting if there's any other questions. Yeah. Nature and interiors. By that, do you mean like integrating like leaves and plants and that sort of thing? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of interior. It depends on what style you're working on. If you go to my townhouse, the one with the modern interior, that one I used plants and leaves to sort of juxtapose the sort of modern nature of it, and that the plants and the green colors kind of add a bit of color and a bit of contrast to the overall like sort of cold nature of it, and they make it feel more warm and welcoming. Also, the wood tones that I used sort of go along and coalesce with the foliage types, as they sort of harmonize basically. What do I study in real life? I'm not in college or university yet. I'm in high school currently. I'm planning on going into architecture though, and perhaps doing graphic design. I'm not sure yet. That's just what I'm thinking. What is my opinion on the new terracotta blocks? I personally think that the new terracotta blocks are going to be awesome. They have a lot of opportunity, especially when creating like giant patterns. Could be awesome for like Indian sort of architecture, because they have a lot of patterns in their carpets and stuff. Yeah, so I think they're going to be really cool. I'm not a big fan of how they're on like they require like an even numbered surface to build them on, because I always build my stuff on odd numbered surfaces, like always. So that might be a bit tricky to cope with, but I think overall they're awesome. Do I like the new colors for the wall blocks? Personally, I do not like them. I think they're too vibrant, and they do not fit well with the rest of the blocks Minecraft has. And it could be because I don't like change, or like I'm not used to change. But as a whole, I'm not too pleased with the new colors. I think they look exactly like the new concrete blocks. So I think having the old wall textures would be nice, personally. What grade am I in? I'm in 10th grade. I'm a sophomore currently. Opinion on the colored beds. I think colored beds are going to be awesome. If you guys go to the main theater, you can see that I used beds for my seating. And so that's just one example of using beds that aren't actually like beds. So the colored beds is going to provide a whole lot of opportunity for new new types of seating and that sort of thing. Yeah, I'll try and continue the bank. Even if it's not on the Discord, I might just stay in the Discord for a few hours or whatever. Even if it's not my masterclass, but I'll try and continue it if I can. How old am I? I am 15 years old. Yeah. Are there any blocks that you find absolutely useless or disgusting looking at them, and would like a replacement texture on them? That's an interesting question. I'm not really appalled by Minecraft blocks. Like I don't have that strong of a hatred towards any particular block. I think they're all pretty good as it is now. Yeah, I don't really have. However, I would like to see some new ones being added. Like I mentioned earlier, a black sort of like marble version of quartz would be awesome. Like a pitch black one that isn't reddish like nether brick is. Let's see. Would you consider Minecraft a job? Probably not, just because I don't get commissions at a rate that would be suitable for me to get or to use Minecraft as a full-time job. I know there are some people that are able to do that, but I am at this point probably not going to do that. Is there any particular style of a build that you would prefer to stay away from? I don't think so. There's some that I haven't done just because I haven't had the time to, or I just haven't been interested in. But there's not any that I think I would personally like stay away from. There's some that I'm not interested in. Kind of like certain types of trying to think of an example. Maybe like colonial architecture. I'm not a big fan of, but I'm not trying to stay away from it. I'm just not too interested in recreating it. Oh, thanks for that. Good luck so far. Thank you. Where did you build the builds you used for the examples? I built them on the Blockworks private server. That's the Blockworks team. That's our server that we build on. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah. Yes, I am 15. Are there any styles that you often see done badly? If so, why do you think, and how could this be prevented? It's an interesting question. Let's see. Styles done badly. I know that, so currently kind of people try to replicate the Pandora's block sort of style of like detail. And not saying that they do it badly, but some examples I've seen aren't always done the greatest. And I think some of that could be alleviated by if people focus on proportionality more. So like the proportionality between arches and pillars, or like the proportionality between floors and ceilings, and making sure everything like has correct scale and correct proportion. Because if you have like say a 9 wide arch, but you only have like 1 or 2 wide pillars that support that arch, it's going to look really unbalanced and really uneasy, which I think is kind of an issue, not necessarily plaguing today's building community, but just proportionality, I think, is a big part in building, especially in that sort of style. Yeah. What is your opinion on the new Minecraft marketplace, which enables people to have Minecraft as a job? I'm all for it. I think it's going to benefit creators as a whole. I haven't read too much into it, so I don't have an entirely educated opinion on that sort of matter. I'm probably not the best person to ask, but from what I've seen so far, it looks like it's going to be beneficial to us builders and us creators, I think. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that definitely exists. I can definitely contradict myself in that way. But yeah, I was just trying to give someone an example. You know what I mean? Yeah, Victorian has a lot more detail than Colonial does. Okay, I'm getting my computer to reboot, so I should be able to get back on soon enough. Yeah. Okay. I know there's some questions on Twitter. I might go to those if I can load them up. Let me see. Well, there's a bit of a dip in the Q&A questions. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, I know someone asked about voice practice. Someone asked about how I keep my build so proportional. And for that, like my castles, those are on like a 2-to-1 scale or like a 3-to-1 scale. And I try and make sure that they're proportional by really just kind of eyeballing it. and I'd pretend that, like, if I were to make something, say, 1 block wide, I make sure I do it like 2 blocks wide. But in reality, I don't try to stick to a strict proportion. I try to make sure everything looks good. So even if some parts of a build are 2 to 1 and some parts are 3 to 1, as long as it looks good and looks coherent, that's all I really care about. What is the longest time I have spent on a build? That's a good question. I tend to spend a lot of time on my builds, probably like over a year, because I spend a lot of detail and spend a lot of time on the stuff I create. And it doesn't help that I'm like relatively slow, as you guys have probably seen. I'm not the fastest of builders. Yeah, because I put a lot of detail into my stuff. But yeah, probably around a year. What is your best advice for getting better in building? That is not just one word: practice. That's a good question. Getting better in building. In what aspect? Can I have you like clarify that a bit more, because that's kind of vague. What is my Twitter name? My Twitter handle is twitter.com/knuckles527. It's my in-game name, or my Discord name too. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that one. Thank you, Sean. Making greater builds, making better looking detail. Okay, that helps. That helps me a lot. So for me, what I did to start out, basically, I would literally like look at people's builds that inspired me, that I wanted to look like. And so I would at first, copy their detailing, 1 to 1. I wouldn't copy their builds, but I would, analyze the way they detailed specifically, and I would try and replicate it to my own ability. And then once I get comfortable, replicating that detail, I would sort of branch out and try and develop my own style if I could. And then if you can develop your own style, and like your own personalized style that makes you happy, that you enjoy looking at, that's the best thing you could possibly do. And that really helps when you're building, to have like a style that you can rely on and that's unique to you. Okay, I think I might have Discord back up, so let me see. Guys, can you? Yeah, I have a microphone. Okay, I think I have my computer back. Yeah, let me get back to the Q&A. Okay, so let's see. Favorite public tool to use? Of course, I would have to say GoBrush. Okaniacs. Does it sometimes annoy you when you don't realize that the top texture bricks doesn't line up at the south side? Oh yeah, that's super annoying. God, I haven't even noticed that. So annoying. What are some things? I mean, yeah, you know what? Oh, shut up. Yeah, I like one of the GoBrush is pretty cool too. What are some things that you would like to see the average builder do more and do less? Don't say bookcases, for God's sakes. In regard to interior or for building, specify your question, and then I'll answer it. Because that's kind of vague. Like there's so many different things. Things that average builder do more and do less. Yeah. Maybe like I'm not sure. Mostly interior based. Okay. One important thing that people don't do a lot is that they don't always like divide rooms into like their respective uses. So like if you have a house, if you think of your own house, you have a bunch of different rooms that all have different purposes, but not all actual interior creators do that. So I think it's important that people starting out, they make sure that they divide the open spaces into, like, they section them off into different rooms, because not everyone does that, and I think that can definitely benefit your interior
or at least just make room dividers or something that you can divide your rooms into, and that's definitely going to help a lot, because you can, shape your furniture based off of your room dividers, even if it's not an entire wall. Say if you do like a half wall or something, you could put like a couch right up against the half wall. So I think that's one thing that they should do more. Make sure that when doing interior, they divide up your rooms, and do less. Less. I'm not sure. Maybe just like try and focus your interior more, because a lot of people, when I see them do interior, they don't always have a cohesive style. It would be nice to have people try and focus more on like what they're trying to make and focus on the purpose that they're trying to convey. Because if you just have a room that has like a bunch of different styles used in it, and every single room has different furniture and different detail and that sort of thing, then that's not going to be beneficial to your overall creative ability. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions? Questionos? Yeah. See, there's still a fair amount of people in the masterclass. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you guys don't mind, if you guys want to, I'm just going to continue the masterclass until the next one. I'm probably just going to stay here building the bank. If you guys feel like just staying in, you guys by no means have to feel obligated to stay. You can leave at any time if you need to. I might post a pic of the bank on Twitter. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm gonna probably stay and finish it. You guys don't have to if you don't want to. I think New Haven's panel is coming up in like 20 minutes. So if you guys want to check that out, you can definitely do that. But yeah, I'm gonna continue here and work on the stuff and the things. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. My Minecraft is booting up right now. I apologize for the sort of break there. It's a bit awkward, but stuff happens. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. I know someone asked on Twitter, is there any way to give your interior a clean feel? Whenever I go and try and do interior, it becomes messy with stuff because and your stuff always looks better to me. So when giving an interior a clean feel, this kind of relates back to the bookshelf hate. Yeah, I think it's important that you make sure that you plan out your furniture and you put your chairs and your tables and whatever it may be, you put them down with a purpose, and you make sure that they have like a cohesive plan in mind, so that your player can physically navigate through your interior, because that's one of the benefits of Minecraft. I know this is an element that James Delaney emphasizes a lot. He says that Minecraft is a tool that lets you physically go through it, where like at a personal level, where other programs like Cinema 4D and CAD kind of won't. So yeah, utilize furniture to the best of your ability. Do you have any tips for making smaller rooms or areas seem bigger? When I find I have smaller areas, it tends to end up looking quite cramped and not too good. Okay. Yeah, so I noticed I kind of did this with my, when I was building my theater, I kind of noticed that. And so one way you can make a small room seem bigger, depending on your definition of small, if you make it kind of dark and you like don't hide, or you don't reveal the ceiling and kind of hide the ceiling in darkness, that will make your room look a bit bigger. If you can't properly see everything, and you kind of give it like more atmospheric type of lighting, then that helps to make it seem bigger, even if it is small. Do you feel that builds are heading bigger to the bigger side these days, especially with plugins and all? I wouldn't say that. I think that there's always going to be like giant mega builds, and there's always going to be the small sort of plot things. Bigger size builds are definitely. I mean, maybe they are getting more popular. I don't know. I think like there's not going to be a point where just everyone is making giant stuff. Although, like giant contest builds seem to be the norm for like Planet Minecraft contests. All the entries usually are massive.
but I think that's kind of just because it gives you the most amount of detail that you can get. Like it's the most bang you can get for your buck, basically. As opposed to, you know, sort of small stuff that takes a whole lot of the time. So yeah, I think that's kind of why they do that. Do I have another copy of the theater? I'm probably gonna post some images of it on Twitter, and I'll put a download on Twitter so you guys can explore it in its you know, proper glory. Yeah, not actually sure what happened to it. Anyway, yes, I am back on Minecraft now, so I'm gonna continue the bank. If you guys feel like checking it out, and if you guys feel like staying, yeah, I am back on the server. Right. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. How much furniture do you recommend using in an interior? I would say that's a good question too. That depends on the style that you're doing. So like if you're doing a traditional sort of interior, like my my Home Alone sort of house, that one almost has like excessive furniture, like it has like excessive tables and stuff. But if you're doing like, you know, a sort of modern interior, then it's usually more minimalist and only uses what's necessary. Do I have a favorite build interior that you've created, and can you share a picture of it? I would say my Ravenswick, the big castle, is probably my favorite interior, just because of the amount of like different rooms it has and the atmosphere and everything it has. I think that's probably my favorite personally. And that one's on the server if you want to check it out. Yeah, no problem. No problem, man. Do you think it's better to do furniture with blocks in Minecraft or with armor stands? I think it's better to do it with blocks because you can physically like stand on the furniture then if you're doing it with armor stands. Although it might look better, it might look realistic, it kind of takes it out of the Minecraft sort of blocky feel, and you can't sit on it usually. And it's also like more tedious to do. So if you feel like putting in the effort to make an awesome couch or chair out of armor stands, then it's definitely worth it. But for me, I'm just not a huge fan of it. I think I use stack for the cupboard doors, but you can also use paste. Like there's a number of ways you can possibly do it. Yeah. Alrighty. I am going to get back to work making this bank. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Shulker boxes can yeah, they can give you a sort of thing, but it can be tedious from time to time. So that's kind of why I avoid it for the most part. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna try and get a link to my bank teller thing that I was trying to get originally and see what I can do there. I have the image, but it was not cooperating with me. Basically, what I want to do is make a wooden sort of bank stall, basically. What scale am I making the bank? I'm taking questions from the chat now, guys, if you want to swap over there. The scale for the bank is, I think it's going to be like 2 to 1. Around there, maybe. Yeah, sure. Okay, I have a link for the bank thing. I'm gonna post this in the events chat. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Yeah. So if you guys check the events chat, that link did actually work. I didn't think it worked, but yeah, it has. It's like a wooden sort of bank thing with a clock at the top. I think I'm going to try and replicate that. Okay, so I'm going to read through the chat now. I struggle with making clocks. Any tips on making them? Yeah, I struggle with making clocks too. If you're trying to do like a small one, it's going to be really hard. So try and make them as big as you can so you can get the most detail. And then also use like stairs and slabs to get like the corners. And what I would usually do is I'd use like fences and fence gates to make the hands. I guess you'll see how I make this clock because I have somewhat of an idea of how I can make it. But yeah, clocks, I'd focus on like small detailed blocks if you're doing that sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, so the New Haven Masterclass, that one's going to start in like 10 minutes if you guys want to check that out. But if you feel like staying with me, I'm going to stay here because my panel is the only one in this channel. So I'm going to
be staying here if you guys, yeah, want to build with me or just watch me build. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So yeah, if you have any more like simple questions, post them in the Minecraft chat. I'll be checking from there. Thank you guys for all the questions, by the way. You've been posting some awesome questions. Awesome questions. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so right now I'm just working on creating the sort of bank stall I posted in the events chat a while ago. And so I'm using spruce wood right now to sort of kind of contrast, but also like complement the sort of orange wall sort of pattern I got going on the walls. Yeah, yeah. Someone said they like to use the note blocks. I like note blocks as like a central sort of like a central sort of block, because they're almost the exact same color as spruce wood, but they're a bit different, so they can add some variation there. And so yeah, I posted my reference in the chat, and basically what I'm doing now is I'm going through and copying it to the best of my ability. And so the benefit to building on this scale is that whereas if I'm doing it 1-to-1, I might need to make these logs like fences. I can make them full blocks, and I can get the right proportions that way. So let's see. Yeah, I think that looks. I might need to take this down a notch, make them just a bit smaller, make the arches a bit smaller. How often do I use heads for detail? I use them quite a lot, but I usually don't use them as like the structure, if you know what I mean. Like I do not use the heads as part of like the structure or like as part of like pillars. I'd only use them if I'm using like candles or whatever. But I use them quite a lot. They're nice for like food or for just decorative blocks. They're awesome. Yeah, okay. So I have this basic shape done. I'm going to add the sort of cornice that the actual building has itself. Not the building, the stand, sort of thing. So if I'm looking at it, I see that it kind of it kind of curves out and then it curves back in. So let me this is kind of what it looks like to me. It kind of does like a curve out shape and then it kind of curves back in. So this is the I didn't really place the chandelier in the best of spots, but hey, I'm just doing this on the fly. It doesn't matter. So this is kind of how I detail my sort of stuff. It's also nice when you like develop your own methods of detailing. Like this specific sort of thing I've used a million times. It was like upside down stair, right side up stair, and another upside down one that's like a diagonal away from it. Because then you can just go back and like rely on the detailing that you've sort of built for yourself. So how would I make a clock? Okay, if I use this scale, I'm gonna try and see what I can do here. The chandelier was kind of in the way, but let's see what I can do. If I were to like actually like build this legitimately, it would stand out much more. So like obviously I wouldn't have this running into the actual chandelier, but what can you do? Someone private messaged me asking, is it best to eat while building or not eat? I mean, that's really up to you. I don't mind eating when I'm building. I usually don't, but I don't have anything against it or anything. It can sometimes be kind of distracting if you're trying to eat like a sandwich and you're trying to build something at the same time. I usually kind of separate them. But you do you, man. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay. Would you consider giving another masterclass for the next BoldCon? Yeah, I could definitely see myself doing that. I mean, if people wanted enough, then yeah, definitely I could do that. I know people like Chimelis and Nord Wolf. There we go. They're both doing their second masterclass, and I think they're doing more like hands-on sort of stuff this time around, whereas the first ones they did like lecture sort of stuff for those. So maybe if I do that, I'll try that as well. And yeah, so yeah, I'd be up for that if they want to have me return. Yeah. There's something not pasted on the right side, on the right-hand side by the window. What do you mean by that? What is that something that you're referring to? In the corner, yeah. Is it like part of the cornice, or is it like, what are you talking about, Joel? Climb it up. Yeah, is it like in the wall? Oh, is it this thing? Is it this? Yeah, I think it's this. Hope it's that. Okay, maybe it's that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, as you can tell, this whole sort of thing is kind of rushed. But so, yeah, so if I'm going through and I'm building this is the entrance. And although this building wouldn't actually be a bank, you kind of got to imagine from the player's perspective, like, okay, where am I going to go from here? If I walk straight in and you have a bank teller, this is a nice spot for it, right off the entrance. Yeah, and then again, I use spruce wood for this to kind of complement the rest of the detailing. And again, I'm going to reiterate that I use kind of a lighter wood, and then as it gets more vertical, it becomes a darker wood. Why is the other wall sponge? I haven't done this one. I'm just going to copy and flip this entire thing across the axis, just because I'm lazy like that. But yeah, I'm just going to do one side, and then I'm going to copy and flip it. Yeah. This shouldn't take me too much longer. Yeah. Do you think this bank is like useful at all? I hope it's helpful. Maybe it might not be, but I try my best. How do I usually start planning my builds? Do you usually, okay, how do I start planning them? Inspiration palettes. Usually I'll get like inspiration from like an image or like concept art or like just in nature somewhere. And then I will look for images that sort of like relate to it, and I'll find inspiration elsewhere that like I can add to my original image or my original concept art. And then I will I like to physically make like a miniature model in Minecraft to give me like an idea of what it should look like, and then I will go out and build it, and then build the separate assets and combine them or whatever. How are you able to juggle schoolwork with your Minecraft builds and still be successful in both? That is a good question. It's called having absolutely no life, no social life whatsoever. I'm just kidding. It's always good to have a balance. So like, I always make sure to put schoolwork before Minecraft. So whatever like free time I have, I will dedicate to Minecraft if I choose to do that. But like, you never want to like force anything in Minecraft. You always want to like do it out of what you if you like enjoy it, you always want to do it out of enjoyment basically. You shouldn't just be like going to Minecraft just because you have nothing else to do. At least that's in my opinion. You don't have to follow what I say. That's my sort of philosophy for building. You should probably be enjoying what you're doing. I build with the touchpad. I probably shouldn't, but I do. How many hours a day do I build? I mean, it kind of depends on the day. Maybe like 4, 6. I don't know. On school days, it's probably like 3, like 3 to 4 maybe. Yeah, it all depends. So yeah, I'm gonna add another detail thing right here. Do your school peers know that you play Minecraft, and if so, do they tease? That's a good question. So kind of the way I say that I play Minecraft is that I'll be like, oh, I'll have you know that I design virtual environments for a company or something like that. Like I kind of like bullshit it and pretend I do something that I'm actually not doing. But if they ask me questions, I'll be like, oh yeah, I use Minecraft to do it. But like just on the first like questioning, I'd be like, kind of chalk it up and pretend you're doing something you're not. I mean, yeah, if they don't play, if they play Minecraft, I'll of course explain what it actually is. Yeah, yeah, that's usually what I do and how I sort of get away with it, or maybe I don't get away with it. But yeah, that's kind of my philosophy on that front. Yep. Alrighty. Let's see, what else? What else should I add in this bank? Need a bit of lighting. I'm gonna do a carpet down the middle here. Yeah. Do my parents know I work for Blockworks? Yes, they do. They're aware of what I do. Yes. It's always good to be inclusive to your parents. At least that's what I think. It's always good to like have your parents get involved. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I gotta put some more lighting in this build. Yeah. Hi, Sean. Do I play other games besides Minecraft? That's a good question. Not really. I mean, I kind of do on occasion, but not a whole lot. Not a whole not a whole lot. Not really often. Yeah, I mostly just do Minecraft. What is my favorite type of log or planks? I think maybe dark oak wood. You should switch to the chat transfer. Okay, that's a good idea. I might do that. Well, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm not sure. Okay. So yeah, Sean in the chat, Hydraxis, he suggested that if anyone wants to ask questions, we should go to a different chat channel so you guys can use your microphones. I think I might do that. I might switch to a chat channel if you guys want to talk on microphone with me and like discuss things one-to-one, then we can do that. Okay. So yeah, apparently chat 2 is open. If you guys want to come with me, you don't have to. I think I'm gonna move over to chat 2 so you guys can turn on your microphones if you want to. You don't have to turn on. Then we can have a conversation just because the masterclass is kind of over, but I'll still just continuing chatting with you guys. Okay, yeah. Right now I'm gonna switch over to chat 2. So meet me there if you want to talk on microphone or if you just want to listen in. Yeah, let's go. situation that I'm not already using, and try and take take ideas from different places and still incorporate them into my work. So like say if I'm using like a traditional sort of if I'm making like a castle or whatever, maybe I would look at like some modern houses just to see how they arrange their interior and try and gain different types of inspiration that way. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna continue working on this bank. Yeah, why is no one talking? And no one has to talk. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. This is just in case if you guys feel like striking up a conversation or anything,
Hello.
you can feel free to.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, alrighty.
Thumbs up.
Hi. uh,
Right
Yeah.
when people start to talk, it gets awkward.
I mean, yeah, it can get awkward from time to time, but I mean, this is the more laid back part of it. You're not in the actual masterclass thing, so it's not that bad. I don't think.
Yeah.
I try not to make it awkward. Yeah. Alrighty. Did you guys enjoy the masterclass? Hopefully, I made it
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Sweet. Yeah. Alrighty. My first-
Knuckles, do you usually go like? Do you consider yourself a perfectionist? Like you overdo the builds just to get it perfect?
Yeah, I'd definitely say I'm a perfectionist. Yeah, because I spend a whole lot of time making sure I get the details right. Yeah, especially when I'm doing Minecraft stuff and like sort of graphic design stuff, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I'm not like that in every area of life. Just mostly with my sort of artwork, I would say. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think I'm gonna flip this entire thing. Is this my first masterclass? Yeah, this is my first time ever doing something like this, so it's probably pretty cringy and probably pretty awkward, but hey, I can only improve from here, right? So, yeah.
Well, it was good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Dang it. Sean, do you have any idea what happened with the sort of griefing? That'd be interesting to know what happened there.
No, I have no idea.
Dang
There
it.
was a grief.
Well, not griefing, but like the chunks kind of messed up on my my theater thing, and I didn't do
Some
anything.
stuff looked griefed.
Yeah, look griefed, but I didn't.
Did you put the lol behind it?
The what?
If you go down into the theater, like on the backboard, there's
Yeah.
somebody wrote lol there. Was that you?
No, I didn't do that either. So I guess
Yeah, that's
might have
definitely
been
griefed.
yeah, but like the chunk errors, like that doesn't look griefed. They just look like chunk errors.
Maybe that's what it was meant to look like.
I mean, yeah,
Could get Cake to load up the actual world, probably.
yeah. I'll find out what happened afterwards, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah, just
It's too
unfortunate.
bad because he spent so much time on that.
I mean, I still have it on the Blockwork server, so I can always like
No,
release
I
a
know.
download of it. I didn't
Yeah.
just load it on here, so
But
yeah,
It was for the masterclass, so
yeah. It's unfortunate, but not much I can do.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see. I need to flip this entire room and make a complete bank here. Only took me 2 hours. Woot. Yeah, okay.
What are you making?
Huh?
What are you making? A
I'm
bank?
trying to make a classical kind of bank. Someone asked if I'm British. I am not British.
you are British.
I mean, people might think I sound British, but I am not. I can confirm I am not British.
Is that left?
Hey.
Yeah, it is left. Hey, left.
Yep.
Wow.
So I told
Confirmed
Brennan
he is
that he
British.
can use me for a replacement, but he hasn't responded. So that's great.
Oh, hey, Justin, how you doing? If not
Doing
British,
good.
I am American.
It's
Woot.
all the same thing.
Yeah.
Where's
Kinda.
the vault?
Yeah, dude, make a sweet vault.
A vault?
Good.
That's what I can do. Okay. I'll make like a safe. Yeah.
Done. Hi.
I don't know if I have
Single
space.
safe.
Yeah, I'll just do a big safe at this window right here. Yeah,
Mhm.
that'll work.
You're like in the middle of the room, so people can just
Oh,
access it freely.
Okay.
yeah,
is
of course.
Is it at your masterclass?
Is what am I
Where are you building it?
masterclass? Yeah,
Where are you building
masterclass. I'm building it inside the house from Zafira.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I used it for. That's why I needed an empty house. Okay, how do I make a safe? Let's see. I think I'm gonna go.
You're actually doing it in the middle.
Yeah, why not? I don't have any other space for it, so. I mean, sure. Yeah. So.
Really
The
peaceful
weirdest
bank.
bank ever.
Thank you very much.
Should you can put it
Well,
behind the counters
as
even,
far as-
or if you put like stairs below behind the counters. I mean,
You see, Sean, that
your-
requires
the
effort.
thing below is destroyed, so it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter at this point.
I mean, I could. Yeah.
Yeah,
That requires effort, though. And,
you got to
and
commit to it, man. You
it's-
have a crowd.
I mean, a crowd of like, oh my goodness, this channel really filled up. Holy crap! Let's go. Bank safe.
Did you not see how many people were in your?
No, I
in
thought it
your
was just
panel?
like
They're not
like
here for
10.
you though.
No, there was like 200 people in your
Damn.
masterclass. Maybe not
Yeah.
quite.
There were like
That's-
a lot.
That's
Yeah,
not
there's a lot,
awkward at all.
How much were there were like?
Yeah, the voice cracks helped.
Oh yeah, dude. Voice cracks every day.
Not gonna lie though, I kind of dipped out halfway through yours.
That's fine. You can do that, dude. I don't mind.